Children, today let us start the theorem in Riemann integration, which is the most important theorem. It is the standard theorem, which is stated as every constant function is Riemann integrable on closed interval a comma b. Right? Every constant function is Riemann integrable on closed interval a comma b. Now I will define a function f of x. F of x is equal to some 4 on close interval a comma b, on close interval a comma b. Then we have to find out whether this function is Riemann integral or not. That is, we have to find out the value of integral over a to b f of x dx. Integral over a to b f of x dx is equal to, right? Now, see here, integral over a to b f of x dx means integral over a to b, a to b. What is value of f of x on every closed interval a comma b? It is 4 dx, right? 4 dx is equal to, as per the laws of integration, we have to put 4 before integral. Therefore, we get 4 into integral over a to b dx, right? So now, what is integral over dx? It is x, right? And we have to put 4 outside the integral. Therefore, we get 4 into x over limits a to b. 4 into x, 4 limits a to b. Therefore, we get 4 into b minus a. 4 into b minus a, right? And in the same way, if we take f of x is equal to k, f of x is equal to k on close interval a comma b, then we get integral over a to b, integral over a to b f of x dx, right? Integral over a to b f of x dx is equal to integral over a to b, the value of f of x is k, the value of f of x is k into dx, and it will be equal to, k is constant, therefore put it outside the integral symbol. Therefore, we get k into integral over a to b dx. K into integral over a to b dx. It is equal to k integral over dx is x over limits a to b. Therefore, we get k into b minus a. K into b minus a. That is what we have to prove in this theorem. So the first part which I have showed you is an example, and the next part which I have showed you is the standard part which is to be proved in this theorem, right? Using the conditions of Riemann integrability, right? See, it is an example and it is the theorem. Now, so let me clear all these drawings and let me take you to the proof of the theorem statement, right? So, these two conditions are brought by the condition integral dx, right? By the condition integral dx, right? So what is integral dx is equal to? It is equal to x, right? Using this simple formula in integration, we have formed or we have found that integral over a to b f of x dx is equal to 4 into b minus a in this example, and integral over a to b f of x dx is equal to k into b minus a in this standard condition, right? Now, let me show you. Now, see the statement, every constant function is Riemann integrable on closed interval a comma b, right? Now, so let us start the proof. So f of x is equal to k for every x belongs to closed interval a comma b, right? It means that if I take a real number line, on which if I take a closed interval a comma b, and if I take the values of all f of x, right? So f of a will be equal to some k. F of a will be equal to k, f of b will be equal to k, and f of c, which is c is a value which is taken in between a and b, it is also equal to k. Therefore, only one value k is lying in the values of all f of x, right? So the upper bound is k, lower bound is k, and all the values are only k, right? Now, it is the meaning of this constant function. For every value of x, f of x value will be equal to k. Therefore, such kind of function is this f of x, and therefore infimum of f is equal to k, and the supremum of f is also equal to k. Why? Because in values of f of x, only one value is lying, that is k. Now, so up to here, we have found the infimum and supremum of f of x. The infimum and supremum of f of x. Now, let us take a partition P of closed interval a comma b. Let us take a partition P of closed interval a comma b. Therefore, in this partition, the points a equal to x0, x1, x2, so on to xn is equal to b are lying. That is, n plus 1 points are lying in partition P of closed interval a comma b, right? Therefore, in this partition, if I take rth subinterval IR is equal to, it will be XR, XR minus 1 comma XR. XR minus 1 comma XR. Therefore, if we see the functional values of f of x in this rth segment, therefore f of x r minus 1 is also equal to k, right? And f of xr also is equal to k, right? Therefore, as f of x is a constant function, therefore in every segment, for every value of x, we get f of x is equal to k. Therefore, in rth segment, that means in rth subinterval IR is equal to xr minus 1 comma xr, we have got f of xr minus 1 as k, and we have got f of xr is equal to k, right? That means if I take this f of xr minus 1 as small mr, that is infimum of f of x in rth subinterval, it is equal to k. If I take this f of xr as supremum of f of x in rth subinterval, then it is equal to k, right? Therefore, that is what we have written here. Let capital Mr comma small mr be supremum and infimum of f of x in rth subinterval, that is IR equal to XR minus 1 comma XR, then f of x will be equal to k for every x belongs to closed interval a comma b. Therefore, small mr and capital Mr, both the values are equal to k. What is small mr? It is infimum of f of x in rth segment. And what is capital Mr? It is supremum of f of x in rth segment, right? So, till now we have found the infimum and supremum of f of x in rth subinterval, right? Now let us consider the lower Darboux sum. Let us consider this lower Darboux sum of the partition P which you have taken in this theorem, right? So the condition for lower Darboux sum is summation r equal to 1 to n small mr delta r. Small mr delta r, right? So what is small mr? Just now we have found that small mr, which is infimum of f of x in rth segment, is k. Therefore, instead of mr, we put k here, right? And the rest of the symbol and this symbol are written as it is, right? So we have to expand this delta r, as k is a constant, we put it outside this summation, that k into summation r equal to 1 to n delta r. And if we expand this delta r, we get delta 1 plus delta 2 plus so on plus delta n. And what is delta 1? Delta 1 means the length of first segment, it is x1 minus x0. Delta 2 is the length of second segment, that is x2 minus x1. And so on, we get xn minus 1. xn minus xn minus 1, right? Therefore, this x1 and minus x1 will be cancelled. x2 and minus x2 will be cancelled. And x3 and minus x3 will be cancelled. And so on, this negative xn minus 1 and positive xn minus 1 also will be cancelled. At last, only two terms will be left over, that is x0 and xn. x0 and xn. Therefore, xn is positive and x0 is negative. And we put in square brackets it as k into xn minus x0. What is xn? As per representation, xn is equal to b, and as per representation, x0 is equal to a. Therefore, the value of lower Darboux sum is k into b minus a, which is a constant, right? So in this theorem, we have considered the lower Darboux sum And as f of x is a constant function, small mr value is k, right? So lower Darbox sum is k into b minus a. And next we have to consider the upper Darbox sum. Let us see what is the value of upper Darbox sum, right? So see here, upper Darbox sum condition is u of p comma f is equal to summation r equal to 1 to n capital M r delta r. Right? As per our calculations in the above, right? Capital M r is equal to supremum of f of x in IR, that is in rth segment. Therefore, what is capital M r? Capital M r is equal to k. Capital M r is equal to k. As given function f of x is a constant function. As given function f of x is a constant function, the rth segment, in rth segment, the given functions f of x supremum is k. Therefore, k is written instead of capital M r and delta r and summation r equal to 1 to n written on as it is. Right. Now, as k is a constant, we put k outside this symbolic representation summation r equal to 1 to n delta r. And if we expand this delta r, as we got b minus a in the above calculation of lower Darbox sum, here also we get k into b minus a. Therefore, upper Darbox sum is equal to k into b minus a, which is a constant. Which is a constant. Right. Now, since lower Darbox sum is equal to k into b minus a, it is a constant. It is a constant. Here we are considering lower Riemann integrability. Lower Riemann integrability as supremum of all lower Darbox sums for every partition of phi of closed interval a comma b. What is phi of closed interval a comma b? Phi of closed interval a comma b is family of partitions of closed interval a comma b. Right. So what this author is telling, or what the author is explaining in this step, right? So if we take different partitions, p1, p2, right, dot, which are present in family of partitions of closed interval a comma b, right? Therefore, we can obtain the set of all lower Darbox sums, that is L of p1 comma f comma L of p2 comma f comma and dot. So if I take all these set of all Darbox sums, lower Darbox sums, then what will be L of p1 comma f? It will be equal to k into b minus a. It will be equal to k into b minus a, right? So what will be the lower Darbox sum of this partition p2? It is also will be equal to k into b minus a. Therefore, for every partition of family of partitions of closed interval a comma b, if we find out different Darbox sums, all the Darbox sums will be equal to k into b minus a. It is possible because of the constant function f of x is equal to k. F of x is equal to k. Therefore, all the values are k into b minus a. That is, all the lower Darbox sums of different partitions are equal to k into b minus a. That means in this set of all lower Darbox sums, only one value will be left over. It is k into b minus a, right? So of all these lower Darbox sums, the supremum value is k into b minus a. K into b minus a. That is what we have written here. So supremum of all Darbox sums for every partition of family of partitions of closed interval a comma b is equal to k into b minus a. Therefore, lower Riemann integrability of this constant function f of x dx is equal to k into b minus a. And now let us proceed further for finding upper Riemann integrability of this function f of x, right? So if we consider this upper Riemann integrability, that is integral over a to b bar f of x dx, it is equal to infimum of all upper Darbox sums for every partition belonging to family of partitions of closed interval a comma b, right? It is equal to k into b minus a. What is the meaning of this, right? This means that if we take different partitions, p1, p2, p3 and so on from family of partitions of closed interval a comma b, and if we find out all upper Darbox sums u of p1 comma f, right? Comma u of p2 comma f comma u of p3 comma f, right? All these upper Darboux sums will be present in the set of all upper Darboux sums of different partitions, right? So what will be the value of the first upper Darboux sum for first partition P1 if f is a constant function? If f is a constant function, it will be equal to k into b minus a. It will be equal to k into b minus a, right? So what will be the upper Darboux sum of second partition with respect to this constant function k? It also will be equal to k into b minus a. K into b minus a. And in the same way, for every partition of family of partitions of closed interval a comma b, if we find out different upper Darboux sums for different partitions for the constant function k, all the values will be equal to k into b minus a. All the values will be equal to k into b minus a. Therefore, in set of all these upper Darboux sums, only one value, that is constant, k into b minus a will be present. Therefore, of all these upper Darboux sums of different partitions, if I take the infimum, that means if I take the lower bound, it will be equal to k into b minus a. It will be equal to k into b minus a. That is integral over a to b bar f of x dx will be equal to k into b minus a. That is what the author has written here, k into b minus a. Therefore, the upper Riemann integrability value is also equal to k into b minus a. And already we have showed that lower Riemann integrability value also is equal to k into b minus a. Therefore, from this condition and from this condition, both the lower Riemann integrability and upper Riemann integrability are equal to k into b minus a. Therefore, the constant function k is Riemann integrable over closed interval a comma b. That is what we have written here. So the condition is integral over a to b f of x dx is equal to k into b minus a. Right. So this ends the theorem proof.